Have you ever paused mid-thought, in the middle of your day, and felt it? That quiet, sharp ache behind your achievements. That sense that despite doing everything right, something essential is missing? If so, you're not alone. And a single line, spoken nearly 2,000 years ago, may just hold the answer. Here it is. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Let that sink in. Not, we sometimes suffer, but we suffer more in our minds than we ever do in the world. And once you truly see what that means, it changes everything. Most of our pain isn't born from what happens to us. It's born from what we think will happen, or what we replay endlessly from the past. An offhand comment becomes a condemnation. A missed call becomes rejection. A small failure becomes proof that we're unworthy. We suffer, not because of life, but because of the story we tell ourselves about life. The Stoics saw this clearly. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus. They walked through wars, exile, betrayal, yet their writings echo calm, clarity, and control. Why? Because they didn't try to control life. They mastered the only thing any human ever truly owns, their perception. They understood that pain is inevitable, but suffering, that's optional. We live in a world of constant stimulation, endless information, more opinions than wisdom. And in that noise, we forget what the Stoics knew. You're not exhausted from life. You're exhausted from thinking about it all day, from replaying wounds, from rehearsing disaster. And every time you do, you suffer again, and again, and again. Seneca wasn't dismissing hardship. He was handing you the sword to face it. So, how do you change the way you see life forever? You start here. When adversity hits, pause, ask yourself, am I reacting to reality or to a fear in my mind? This is the power the Stoics wielded. Emotional clarity, not coldness, not denial, just the courage to sit with the truth instead of wrestling ghosts. Marcus Aurelius said it plainly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. You cannot stop the seasons. You cannot stop people from leaving, nor the world from breaking in ways you never expected. But you can control the story you tell yourself about those things. You can choose peace when everything else chooses chaos. In a moment of panic, you might think, I can't handle this. I'll fail. This will ruin me. But pause, breathe, and ask, where am I actually right now? Most fear lives in a future that hasn't happened. Most shame comes from a past that's no longer real. But peace lives only in the present. And in this moment, you are okay. This isn't a one-time insight. It's a daily discipline. The Stoics practiced reminding themselves, daily, hourly, because the mind is like a wild horse, and without reins, it runs toward ruin. You must guide it back, again and again and again. What happens when pain does come? Loss, failure, betrayal. You don't pretend it didn't happen. You ask, what is within my power now? That's the question that changes suffering into strength. Every hardship becomes a forge. Every setback, a sculptor's chisel. Every scar, a map. Epictetus said, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about them. That's the second key. You can train yourself to pause between event and reaction. And in that pause, you regain your power. When someone insults you, you can choose dignity. When life disappoints you, you can choose resolve. That space between trigger and reaction, that is where transformation lives. So, what if, from this moment on, you refuse to suffer unnecessarily? What if you stopped negotiating peace with the future and started cultivating it now, in this breath? You don't need more advice, or more things, or more time. You need perspective, the kind that outlasts empires, the kind carved in stone, the the kind whispered by wise voices across centuries. Seneca was right. You suffer more in imagination than in reality, and the moment you understand this, you reclaim your life. One breath at a time, one thought at a time, one moment of awareness at a time. If this truth has touched something deep in you, if something in you feels just a little freer than before, then the path has already begun. Let it lead you inward, back to stillness, back to clarity, back to who you were before the world told you who to be. Until next time, walk with strength and walk in peace.